Hello, everybody. How are we doing? It's another Wednesday, another new comic book day Wednesday. Let me rearrange my screen here. I can see all of you saying hi and hello. There we go. All right. All right. Well, let's jump right into things. I've got behind me the Ice Cream Man books for our giveaway, all labeled 1 to 5. And what we're going to do here, depending on how many people start claiming them, we'll add more as we go if we need to. So what's going to happen is in a couple minutes, once we're ready, you can claim any number, whether it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that'll be your number. And at the end of the show, that way, if more people come, we can give it away. I think we have about 5 or 6 extras we can add to it as well. And you'll get our exclusive. Let me see if I've got it queued up here on my other page. I do. There we are. There it is. That's Ice Cream Man number 25 with cover art by Mike Ruth. He's one of our favorite artists. We've got lots of exclusives that come from him, and even in our PCs we have a bunch of exclusives from him. So thanks to Mike, and thanks to Justin at Big Country for reaching out to us with this one. And as always, we do like to thank Ashley at 204 Comics. Let me switch the logo. Oh, turn myself off there. There we are. There we are. Alrighty. Yeah, we like to thank Ashley at 204 Comics. He helps us out. He was the one that was able to get us a bunch of extra copies of this Ice Cream Man. Here, I'll set it back up all nicely. There we are. And yeah, like I said last week, like I said the week before, if you haven't started seeing him, go see him already. He's got good deals, guys. He's got good deals. You get your sub with him, get your pull box. It's American cover price minus 10% on your pulls and all new comic books. So don't miss out on those. And without further ado, it looks like Nathan is just finishing up his meeting he's having. I said he's a little bit more remote than he is normally, he said. But yeah, I'll see you on the other side.
Deep within a bleak and dismal swamp, hidden beneath its murky waters, lies the headquarters of the most sinister villains of all time. The Legion of Doom.
Hey everybody, I'm out here promoting our new Ice Cream Man book by Mike Ruth, and here I am, just out doing some self-promotion, walking around, introducing myself, and I was walking by this place, and they all ran up to me thinking I was a real Ice Cream Man, and then they ran back into the house looking for some change and that, so when they come back out, I hope I don't break their hearts. They look kind of menacing, some of them, but until that happens, why don't we get started?
Yeah, let's get going. Let's start the giveaway a bit here. So remember, they are all numbered 1 to 5. So claim your number, whichever one you like. A bonus entry to whoever can tell us who the artist is.
Cover artist.
The cover artist, that's right. Cover artist for this one, the one we have up on the screen there. Yeah, Jeff, you know what? Actually, quite a few people haven't read Ice Cream Man. It's a solid book. And these ones is nice. You're not going to come across a number 1 ever in the wild anymore. You'll get your slab copies in this, and luckily Image does these like DC does Dollar Comics or Marvel does True Believers. This is what they do for Ice Cream and their Image stuff. They're called Image Firsts. So super nice way to pick them up.
Yeah, when I was at the store yesterday picking these books up, I managed to convince 2 or 3 other people who were just waiting in line and to grab a copy because I said it's just $1 and it'll blow your mind. It's pretty cool. So Yeah, Image does those. They do it also right now on the shelf. They have one for Spawn #1 as well too. So every time they just like Ty said, the Marvel Tales and the DC books. It's just a nice way to get something started at a low risk because I know a slab 90 of Ice Cream Man 1 now goes for I think closer to between $800 and $900. So a
Yeah,
dollar to read is
totally.
pretty good.
All right, we're getting some numbers coming in. CE, our good friend CE Barley here is claimed number 5. I got your name on that one. Steven, you are right. It is Mike Ruth, so you've got number 3. You can also choose whichever other one you want there. Jeff, 5 is claimed already, so you'll want to claim either 1 or 2. I'll give you guys a little bit of time there. I get names written on these. There we are. You'll take 2. Perfect. Oh, rock, paper, scissors there, guys. I'm thinking of a number between 1 and 10. What is it? Whoever gets closest.
We can start the showtime while that's still going on, right?
Yeah, I just want to make sure I don't miss anyone.
Oh, okay.
Actually, you're right. 4 should still be open. Where is number 4? I don't know where my number 4 went.
Is there one over there on the thing? Oh, that's good. As usual, Tyler's really, really organized.
I was organized, and I got excited to give stuff away. Okay, well, Steven was closer there. It was 8, so I'll give Steven number 2. Yeah. Let me pull out number 2 here. Perfect. Yeah, I do have 5 copies there. I don't know where I did number 3 or number 4. I'll have to cut another one of my little papers out. While I do that, we'll get started here on our first book. It is Blue and Gold, DC's Blue and Gold, Booster Gold, and Blue Beetle.
All right, I'll start off with that. I enjoyed this book. You got Dan Jurgens writing, and you got Ryan Sook doing the art. Dan Jurgens created Booster Gold, so I was pretty happy to see him back on the title for Booster Gold. And it's what I expected. It's a fun, light read. It has that buddy cop feel, kind of like Lethal Weapon type of thing. And yeah, it's fun. It's got great artwork. I've liked Sook's art for quite a while. And in this book, it's really nice, clean lines, good colors. The story picks up. It's a new story, but the story picks up where it leads up. Oh, I knew it. He was probably sitting on it. The story picks up where the Booster is fighting some aliens who have captured the Justice League members, and that actually happened in the last issue of Justice League. So it kind of picks up off from there. And as Booster is trying to fight these alien spacecraft to rescue the League, he's getting his butt kicked pretty good because he's Booster Gold. He's not that great, and he's definitely D-lister. But the whole time he's doing this, he's streaming it, and he's live streaming it, and he wants to people have send him donations and stuff like that. So he's kind of cheesy that way. So everyone's bad mouthing him that way. At the same time, he's getting his butt kicked. He ends up sending out his little sidekick there, Skeets, for help, and they end up contacting his buddy Blue Beetle, and he comes in, rescues him there, and then they continue on to save the League and that. It's kind of goes from there. They end up saving the League, by their dumb luck kind of ways, and Booster wants the League to ask him to join, and they don't want him to join, so it ends up that's not going to happen, and they leave, and then the aliens from the beginning that were started this all off. Now they're going to come back to Earth and seek revenge on Booster and Blue Beetle. So it's the beginning of, I believe, an 8-issue series. So it'll be fun to read. And like I said, the art's pretty nice. So yeah, not too serious, just a nice romp.
Yeah, it's a pretty standard Booster Gold story. Goofy guy, and that's about it. artwork's all right. Like you said, it's picking up after the last Justice League story there, and who knows? DC's been hitting some pretty good stories out there. This one's only a few issues long. I think 6 or so, 8, 8.
It's 8. Yeah, it's 8.
So yeah, like you said, should be a fun little romp. We'll see what happens there.
I think it's a good place for people to start off if they want just something fun to read.
Totally.
Yeah.
All right, so I got that all sorted. Everyone's name's in the bag here. I've still got number 4 here. So I'll keep bringing that up and try to give new people a chance every so often. I'll mention it. Next up we've got is Shazam number 1. And Billy Batson is a part of the Teen Titans Academy. His powers are a bit on the fritz, and he's not really able to help power the Shazam family anymore. Things are going a little bit off, and that's really the best synopsis you can give this. It looks good. Story should be all right. Similar to what Teen Titans Academy has been. A little bit of fun, a decent story, and yeah, it's a decent read. This one's only 4-issue series, so you won't have to wait too long to see a full conclusion on this one.
Yeah, I thought the same thing too. Much like the last book we were talking about, where it continues off from the Justice League, this one is continuing on from the Teen Titans Academy. Much like in the Marvel universe, you got the Strange Academy, and you got in Hogwarts, the Harry Potter universe. All these schools seem to be super popular. And yeah, so you got Billy Batson. He's at the academy. Even though he's a kid, he still has more experience than most of these people there because he's been Shazam for a long time. He just stays in that kid form when he's not Shazam. And Tyler is right. His powers are on the fritz. He can't control them. They won't work for him when he wants to, or they sputter out, or it's just not good. And yeah, and not only can he not power the rest of the Shazam family, Freddy, the one that has the handicap without those Shazam powers, his handicap is now slowly killing him, which is now really fast. It's like a cancer type of thing. So he's feeling guilt from that too. So it's a good story. I want to see what happens because I always liked Shazam. I always thought he got kind of a bum rap, but yeah, we'll see what happens. Again, 4 issues, so a nice fun read, much like Blue and Gold.
Yeah, that's something that I don't say about DC very often. Is it's a nice fun read. So they've kind of really branched out lately, I think. And speaking of branching out, there's next up is Bermuda. That's a new book this week, and actually it was in a preview of one of last week's books. I can't remember what it was. It might have been at the end of G.I. Joe or something, but
it had to be an IEDW book. So
yeah.
G.I. Joe. Yeah.
So
I like Bermuda. I've been looking forward to this book for a little while. I first read about it a few months ago when me and Tyler first started doing this business, and we were doing some research into the future books. Bermuda by IDW. You got John Layman writing, and you got Nick Bradshaw on the art. And Nick Bradshaw's art in this book is amazing. It's super clean lines, very, very detailed, and bright colors. Just that on itself, I think, should get people into reading in that because he does the cover work as well. But it's a great book. It doesn't say it's for all ages, but it's definitely geared for a little bit less adult age. You got the island of Trange, and it's not triangle, it's triangle. And you have the girl hero Bermuda, and she's kind of what I think is a cross of like Kazar and Pippi Longstocking type of thing. So
yeah,
she's this girl, and she's this girl adventurer in like a Savage Land, Jurassic Park type of thing. And she ends up finding a guy on the beach, and she's trying to get the guy away from the beach because all the other people of the island seen this vehicle crash at the beach too, and they're out to get him. So it looks like it's going to be fun. Yeah, I hope it's good.
Yeah, and like you said, it's kind of, that's what I explained it to as well. I was over in Ashley's shop, and one of our friends Taz was in there, and I was sort of talking to them about it, and that's exactly how I explained it. It's kind of like an adventure in the Savage Land. You've got she's got like a pet giant chameleon as a thing she rides.
No,
And
I think it's an iguana.
is an
But
iguana?
it
I
could
think
be.
it had
It
like
could be.
chameleon
Yeah.
eyes or something. Big lizard, big lizard.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then you got other stuff like dinosaurs and running around, and it'll be a fun story. Again, I don't think it's going to take itself too seriously.
No.
I like the artwork though.
Yeah.
It's pretty detailed, and then the coloring's really good. It's not one of those ones that are over gory. There's a few spots where there's blood and whatever, but it's only to serve the story. It's not just to be overly done. So
Yeah.
I think
Between
it's pretty good. I look forward to reading some more of it for sure.
between this book and Mammal, which was last week's book, which was kind of similar, but again, not anything close, but kind of similar. I'm more interested to read this one just because of the artwork.
Mm-hmm. No, totally.
Yeah.
Totally. I hear you. Next up is something in the complete opposite direction. This one was from IDW. Now this one coming up is from Boom. It's Dark Blood. And where the other one's a little more lighthearted, this one is not so much. It's a bit more of a noir story. And this one looks like it's going to be a decent story. It's definitely, like I said, it's dark. It's going to be a darker story. The artwork in it's really nice. And I don't want to spoil it. This is one I don't really want to spoil. This is one that I think you should definitely read for yourself.
Yeah, you're right. This book is going to hit a lot of people the same way because of the social relevancy in it. Dark Blood 1, and it, again, from Boom Studios. It seems like we talk about Boom books or multiple Boom books every week. They're one of our favorites. You got Leota Morgan on writing and Walt Barna on the art. It's nice art, nice and clean. Again, Tyler's right. It kind of has that noir feeling to it. And what it is you got a guy named Anderson, is AA they call him. And at the beginning of the story, he's a black man in America in the 50s, and he works like in a diner or something. And at the end of the shift, he's walking down the alley home, and you can see like not a hooded, but a jacket and fedora type guy approach him, and he's all, threatening him and stuff like that. And turns out it's a customer from the restaurant. And I guess it's a white customer. And I guess the white customer felt offended the way that Arn talked to somebody or something like that. So while this confrontation is going on, you see some flashbacks going on in Arn's head about his life, and it flashes back, I believe, about 10 years or so, and he's in one of the world wars in the 40s, and he's an air pilot. And during this time, being a black man and an air pilot in the 40s was pretty rare, so he got a lot of guff for that.
Yeah.
And during one of his flights,
they capture the time really well.
Yes, they do. Yeah. And during one of these flights, he has some kind of encounter with, we don't know what it is, but some kind of encounter. We don't know if it's alien or supernatural or just superhero or what. So, and then it flashes back to the present time, and the guy in the alley is actually going to shoot Arn for being this rude black guy, but he doesn't use black guy. He uses a really unpopular word nowadays. And as soon as he fires that bullet, all these powers emerge from Arn, and it's almost like telekinetic and that, and he stops the bullet and all this, and then he starts chasing after the guy. So apparently during this incident during the air flight, he somehow gained powers. And that's where it kind of leaves it at the end of the story there. So I'm very interested to see where it goes because of just the historic relevance. I always like history stories, and just the social relevancy too. I think it'll be a pretty good book.
Yeah, this is one I could see being done as Netflix maybe, but Amazon series. They usually go for the dark stuff more tonally, and this seems like the kind of thing that'd be more up their alley, kind of like American Gods kind of thing.
Yeah, but just a good story too. So.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And the next one, and I think you and I had the same opinion on this one, whereas Dark Blood was a good story. Myself, this one, Mom, wasn't quite as good of a story. I know a lot of people have been waiting for this book in the last little while. It's by Emilia Clarke, like Khaleesi from Game of Thrones, and so it's interesting that she's taken a foray into this. But story-wise, I'm not really all that into it. Art, the art's okay. I don't really resonate with the art too much. I think it's just a little bit uh, where you see most indies goers, they're very different. They're very unique, and they all stand out pretty well from each other. And this one just I think falls a little bit short on that for me.
Yeah, I kind of was looking forward to it, and not in the sense that I was looking forward to it like I was, oh, I thought it'd be great or whatever. I just wanted to see what it would be because, like you said, with Amelia Clark writing and Marguerite Bennett helping out writing too. And then you got Leela Lays on the art. And yeah, I was kind of hesitant about the art too. Like, it's not bad, but it's not good. I don't know. I mean, it's not that it's not good. It just seems kind of
It's pretty
like,
generic feeling. It's nothing
yeah,
too
it's just
exciting. It doesn't
not
really
so
catch your
rushed.
eye.
Yeah, and then the story's okay, but it kind of feels like it's like amalgamation of a bunch of stories. So
Yeah.
you have this woman who is the the main character. She's a woman that's 29ish, and she's a single mom, and she seems to have some powers, and but she's had like issues in the past and that, and yeah, I don't know. It seems like she's gonna take on some human traffickers, and the one thing that seems to be really heavily themed throughout this book is like just how it's like a man's world, and like everything's still allowed. Like you're allowed to grope a woman and cop a feel on her butt and as a compliment, and men are totally like degrading, and it's just not. I don't know.
I feel it's kind of like what we talked about a couple weeks back with that new Captain America there with you had
Yeah,
a partner there, a gay partner, and it felt really just natural, whereas this politically feels a little bit more forced and really in your face. It's not very subtle.
yeah, every little part that they try to get in there, whether every kind of background thing feels kind of forced, like you said, like even the gender issues, or not the gender issues, but the relationships and that. So yeah, I think hopefully next issue gets better, and I think a lot of people probably think that, but I'm undecided at the moment.
Yeah, yeah, and I think that's a fair assessment, fair judgment of it. And next up, something a little more lighthearted is Marvel Action Spider-Man. This is one of Marvel's titles that they put out through IDW. It's geared more towards kids, and before reading this, I didn't know really how much. The only thing of Marvel Action that really stood out to me in the past is some of their cover art, and interior art's all right, but they get some really good cover art, whether it's a one per store or a ratio variant, and they don't get too many ratio variants, but stuff of that kind. And the one up on screen right now is just cover A, and it's all right. And the retail incentive for that one, I think, is the screwball there on the cover and Spider-Man taking a selfie on her phone or something
Yeah,
something to that effect. But
yeah,
the covers are fun, and the stories on the inside are the same thing. They're pretty fun, but nothing special. If it's for kids, definitely great. If you're looking for just a quick, lighthearted Spider-Man adventure, great. It reminds me more so of what the current Spider-Man cartoons on TV are. They don't really push too hard to really get to know the characters. It's just, hey, this is Spider-Man. Hey, this is his supporting characters, and here's the bad guy this week. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. There's there's good parts about this. I'm not saying it's a bad story. It's quite enjoyable, but if you're looking for something a little bit more in depth, then that's definitely not going to be up your alley. But great for kids. Great for kids for sure. I would have read this as a kid.
yeah, that's totally what it is. It's Marvel Action Spider-Man #4. There's been other volumes of this, and those ones seem to be geared to a little bit older crowd. But when I was reading this one too, I thought the same thing. Wow, it's really like I would think in like 10 and under almost. Or
Yeah.
it's even the characters in here. It's like they've kind of redesigned the universe where it's an amalgamation of a bunch of things like the Spider-Man or Peter Parker and his school chums, and that they seem to be almost like not even in high school. Like it might be just junior high, or maybe grade 9 or 10 at the oldest type of thing.
Yeah.
And then some of the characters like Betty Brant, that was like roughly the same age as Peter in that, and worked at the Bugle. Now she seems to be like the journalist teacher at the school. So, and Doc Ock is the principal, and he's still designing his arms and that. So it's kind of weird that way, but yeah, totally geared for kids. I wanted to pick it up just because I saw that new character in the cover there, and I saw that it might be a key, and I never seen the character before. It's called Screwball, but Tyler said it showed up in a cartoon or something before, but I wasn't familiar with it, so it's probably still kind of minor key. But yeah, I just wanted to check it out. But yeah, very, very young reader, geared towards.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
fun read if you're looking for something just to sort of sit there and read a cartoon, essentially, and that's always fun. But
Or read kids.
yeah, for kids, exactly. I got a friend here, CE, said the same thing. His son enjoyed it. So and that's exactly it. That's what they're aiming for with this one.
There you
go. But one that probably isn't geared so much towards your son is the new Moon Knight series. I know lots of people have been waiting for this one, and especially with the hype building up around it with Oscar Isaacs and the Disney Plus show, Moon Knight's really, really gaining some steam. And all this issue really, it just serves to reintroduce him, retell his story, and closer towards the end, they start setting stuff up. They show off a new character at the end there who looks to be very interesting. He's introduced a little bit earlier in the story, and then further along they go a little bit deeper. But I'm liking this one. I think this is probably going to be a regular pickup for me for sure. The art is solid. There is about 1,000 different covers, and I got my favorite. One of my favorite cover artists is Scotty Young. These ones are always fun. They're always nice and fun.
Yeah, I was waiting for this series too. I think it's Marvel's hoping it's probably one of their biggest launches of the year, and the way that they're pushing it, I think it's gonna have to be. There are, I think, 8 covers just for the regular stores, and then there's a ton of store exclusives, which are each one is awesome. I haven't seen a cover that I didn't like.
Yeah.
You got Jed MacKay writing, and you got Alessandro Capaccio doing the art. And the art is solid in this book. It's awesome. And like Tyler said, it's a great place to start off, especially with new interest coming in because of the Disney Plus show coming up in the future. It starts off with him reestablishing himself as the protector of New York, but especially the protector of the night and anybody who travels by night. And that's in his Moon Knight form. And they show him in his Mr. Knight, the business suit with the white mask form. He's talking to his therapist about stuff. And during that therapist talking sessions, you get kind of like the history. And I think it's kind of cool that they acknowledge all the history of him through all his incarnations. And weave it all together. And like Tyler said, they do introduce a new character, Dr. Better. And at the end, he ends up becoming or introduced as another disciple of Khonshu. He's they refer to as Moon Knight as the left hand, and this guy is the right hand. They call him the Moon Hunter. And I don't know if that's going to make him an antagonist or
it's left pretty ambiguous. They don't really tell you.
No. So yeah, I think I'm super hyped to keep reading this book, and so far so good.
Yeah. Next up here is I'll let you take point on this one because I know you enjoyed it. Is Siphon #1?
Siphon, yeah. Siphon #1 was one I've been waiting for a while as well when we started researching our books. And Siphon #1 is from Image, but it's part of their Top Cow imprint. So that's usually stuff that's a little bit more serious, a little bit more adult. It's written by Moshe Ashraf, and you got Patrick Amini, and then you got Jeff Edwards doing the art. And what it is you got a type of a sin eater type of people, but instead of eating people's sins, they absorb people's emotions. So if somebody's feeling like pain from loss or just depression or anything like that, even a little bit of physical pain, these people can absorb it and they make the other people feel better. And by absorbing this, they kind of get a little bit of powers themselves. So at the beginning of the story, you see a woman who has these powers gets murdered by what looks like to be some kind of cult or group. As soon as the woman dies, her powers or her spirit fly over her body and start looking for a new host, kind of like the Green Lantern rings do when a lantern dies. So they find this new host who is we get a little bit of backstory on him. He's a paramedic, and he's kind of an empathic guy and good and stuff like that. So he gets these new powers. He starts, kind of being overwhelmed by these powers because he feels everything right away. And he kind of, has some stuff happen and wakes up in the clutches of this group that killed the other lady. And he kind of finds out that they want to, they say they want to help him, but it's pretty obvious they want to harness these powers to let them use for their own ways. So I'm really looking forward to the continuation of this. I think it's a really cool and original concept. So, and the art's awesome too.
Yeah, and that was kind of my thinking as well. Is it's pretty original, and it's a little bit different from Mom, where it felt just a little bit too much samey. And so I definitely agree with you fully there. Next up is I know this one is going to be a fun one. I think quite a few people didn't know it was coming out, but when they heard it was, got a little bit excited. Is Trailer Park Boys.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. The Trailer Park Boys.
You want me to take point on that one?
For sure, yeah. I know you had a good time reading this one.
Yeah, I was excited for this one too. Trailer Park Boys from Devil's Deuce #1. It's called Trailer Park Boys Get a Burp comic. So the beep sound was the F-bomb.
In case you were wondering.
In case you were wondering. I love the Trailer Park Boys. I watched it when I was growing up, like most Canadians did, because it was made in Canada. And when I saw this comic coming out, I was kind of curious to see what it'd be, and I was very happy when I did read it. You get about 8 or 9 stories in it, all just a page or two. A couple of the stories aren't actually stories; they're more like activity pages and jokes and crosswords and recipes type of thing. Things you'd find like in a kids magazine and stuff, but obviously with your trailer park themes. And even though the artwork and that is very kid-like and cartoon comic book-like, this book is definitely not for kids. Every second word in it is a swear, and it's just like a TV show. So if you wouldn't show it to your kids, the TV show, don't show them this book. But for anybody who is a fan, just read it. You'll laugh. I kind of told Tyler right before he read it, it's like all these little stories are like, it's like taking a Bazooka Joe comic, the gum wrapper comic, and spreading it a couple pages long on an acid trip. It's kind of funny that way. And each story has different art too, so that's kind of cool as well.
Yeah, it's a pretty fun book, and like you said, if you like the show, you're gonna like this. Each little short story is just like they took a small clip out of the show. There's one where they find a T-shirt gun, like a little T-shirt cannon inside of a junkyard, and they start shooting people with it. And there's one where Bubbles is worried about the Sam Squanch, and so it's pretty fun. It's all the same hijinks as you think they would get up to in a show and in a comic. And like I was saying in the shop earlier today, it kind of surprises me that there hasn't been one, but also not. And like you said, it kind of reminds me of like a Mad magazine or something, but just Trailer Park Boys.
Yeah, exactly.
And before we get on to our next one, just in case anyone here is tuned in since we started, for our Ice Cream Man giveaway for one of these bad boys that are labeled 1 to 5. 1, 2, 3, and 5 are claimed, but I've still got number 4 here.
Why don't you tell them what the prize is for again?
Yeah, I will. If anyone hasn't claimed one just yet, just claim number 4. And the prize is the Ice Cream Man, number 25. I'll throw that up really quickly here for us so we can all see it, just so we can remember what we're all eagerly excited to win. There it is right there. Beautiful, beautiful cover art by the one and only Mike Ruth.
Right. So
Alright.
everybody who claims that, one of the five, and we do have couple extra copies. If there's more than five, we'll
Mhm.
get that one free copy no matter what. And one of you lucky winners, or one of you will be a lucky winner and get a free copy of the Ice Cream Man 25 exclusive cover from us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So then, let's carry on. Oh,
Yeah.
and number 4 is gone to Melody. All right. So,
All right.
if anyone else wants to claim any, and you haven't claimed one yet, just say you
We'll
want
do
to
it at the
claim
end of the
it,
show.
and then we'll go from there on. There's about 5 or so more. All right. So we'll move on to the next one, and I'll throw this one into our little bag here. Next up we have is Midnight Western Theater.
I like this book. I saw it on the shelf the week before, and I didn't see it. But we had too many books last week, and this week too, there was a ton of books to go through. So this episode might be a little bit longer, just so everybody who's watching or wants to watch after knows, because we normally shoot for about 10, but the last 2 episodes we've had to do 12 or so. So this is one of the books we lost, or not lost, but didn't get a chance to do last week, and this week we want to do it. Midnight Western Theater 1 from Scout. I liked it. You got Louis Southard on the writing, and then you got David Hahn on the art. And it's an 1860s Western kind of mix of vampires. So right before Tyler was flipping through it, or reading it, I should say, he asked me what's kind of like the synopsis here, Dad. And I said, well, it's imagine like Dusk Till Dawn meets like a Western. And that's kind of what it is. You got 2 fancy cowboy travelers, one male, one female, that come into a town, into a bar after this one brutal gang has come in and killed everybody, and you see them even just murdering the children like moments before. So they've taken over this town completely, and they're just a bunch of bastards. And so then these 2 vampires come in, and they're just bickering between each other about going to the next town and stuff. And of course, this band of banditos start picking a fight with them, and they shouldn't have. These 2 vampires just don't wipe them out. And then they move on to onto the next town. So I don't know how many issues this will be, or if it's just going to be an ongoing series or what. But I just liked it for the sake of that, man. Vampires and a Western, so it's good.
Yeah, I mean, historically, putting cowboys with any other genre seems to fall a bit flat. Cowboys and aliens.
That's what I was going to say. I like that.
But this one definitely held up. I enjoyed it, and cowboys and pirates. Those are 2 of the coolest things out there. And when you can land a solid story with one or the other, or both, if you can do that, that's great. Then you'll have something.
Robots, man.
Yeah, exactly. Dinosaurs and robots, exactly. That this one's good, and you're right. I actually don't know how many issues it's supposed to be.
I think it might be ongoing for now.
It may be ongoing. Yeah, it might be one of those ones that's 4 or 6 or something. But
and again, it's from another company that we read almost every one of their books when they come out is Scout Comics. So.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a solid story, and like you said, I don't want to repeat everything you said, but it's cowboys and vampires, and not a group of people you typically expect, but they're it's good. The art's good, and the story's really good. So I was pretty shocked by this one.
Cool. I'm glad we didn't miss it.
Yeah. Next up we've got and last up actually is Gods of Brutality, and I think you and I have slightly differing opinions on this one. So I'll let you start with the good.
Okay. I've been looking forward to this book for quite a while, and I actually will call this one my pick of the week, and I was going to be my pick of the week before all this, so I'm glad it lives up to it. So this book is I compare it to in the same kind of style as that barbaric book we did a few weeks ago about the crazy barbarian and his just a wild story in that. And this book is very much in the same sense. It's from Scout Comics as well, but it's under their Black Caravan imprint, which is more horror and science fiction type of stuff.
Yeah.
And the first thing I want to say is when they put out these Black Caravan books, the covers are awesome. They're these thick cardboard and they're matte and they just feel good, and the art's always great on them, and I love them. It might cost a little bit more, I'm not sure, because usually cardstock does, but it's still pretty cool. So you've got Rich Woodall on the writer, and then you got Mark Wilser doing the art. And like I said, the art in here is awesome. It's very detailed, lots of cool colors, dark, rich colors, but no, nothing. It's like not shadowy or anything. And like I said about the barbaric book, this book is no holds barred. Everything goes. There's swears and violence and blood and some, sexuality in that. But basically, what it is you got this guy, and I forget what his name is off the top of my head, but he's this rock and roll star, and he's from a band called the Murder Bats. And right when this band, the Murder Bats, their first album was taking off, and they were at the peak, about to be going on a big world tour, this guy dies in a car accident, run over by a train. His car collides with it. But you don't even see any of that. You only read all that in the recap. What's going on in this is he's telling the story to somebody like in a Rolling Stone magazine type after a show, and it's like 25 minutes to midnight, and he has to have this interview done by midnight. Something's coming up by midnight. So this reporter and him don't really have a great relationship over the years, and they start talking about stuff. But you find out now when they're talking that he's not dead. He's alive, and it's many years later, and he's this big rock star now in a band called the Gods of Brutality. So when he's doing this interview, he always tells people that he died and he came back to life from after this train accident. And that's what inspired him to become this different band and all their lyrics and stuff. And what you find out in this story was, yeah, he did die in this train accident, and he went to hell, and he was chained up on a wall with all these other people, and you see all different people. You see astronauts, and you see Egyptians, like you see people all kinds and all times. They're chained to the wall, and they're telling him the rules of what's going on in hell, and he's just chained there. He's like, oh, I don't believe this. I'm getting out of here. But obviously he can't. So then demons come in and start just eating pieces off these people and torturing them and stuff like that. It's like a smorgasbord of organs. And just before this guy's going to get eaten or get part of his organs turned out, he starts praying to every god he can think of. And then while that's going on, you cut to a different scene, and you see, I don't know where it is exactly, like some kind of godland, heaven type of thing. And you see Zeus and Odin talking about how their two sons, Hercules and Thor, are just kind of, they're great gods, but they're kind of douchebags and that. So they hear the pleas of this rock and roll guy and that, and they say, you go down and save this guy and show us how you're good people and that. So Hercules and Thor go down to hell and start, breaking this guy out of hell. And then they're going to have to travel through hell to save this guy and get him out. And that's where the story kind of ends off. But it's super funny because Hercules and Thor are they're like bratty brothers. They hate each other. That's all they do is want to insult each other, get into fights and that. And they're kind of big dicks. But yeah, it's super funny. Lots of comedy. They're very gruesome in that. But yeah, that was my pick of the week for sure.
Yeah, and I didn't enjoy it so much. I thought personally, and it's going to sound a little bit crazy because I said just before that I thought some of them were a little bit more generic than I would have liked. But I find this one's the complete opposite end of the spectrum, where it's just a little bit too much for me. I think it's a little too extreme. But one thing I do want to call attention to is the artwork. There's a centerfold here. I want to pull it out because it really caught me. Was this page right here, right here. It's wild.
Yeah, that's the battle scene with Hercules and Thor and him all riding down the river on like a boat, death boat.
Yeah, so it's like beautiful artwork. It looks great.
Yeah, I like the evil demon girl guides up in the corner.
Yeah, but for me that was really the only thing that kept me through the whole book was the artwork because it was really interesting to look at. We joke about it every week, but I'm a pictures guy. I like looking at the pictures.
Yeah.
And
This
yeah,
it definitely has a heavy metal feel to it.
yeah, yeah, exactly. And as we come to the end, I realize I think we skipped one again.
Which one?
I think we skipped a Jabba, did we not?
Oh, we did.
We
That was a
did.
good one too.
That was a good one. Now, we like to cover at least one Star Wars book a week, and we we had Vader. We both read Vader,
Yeah.
and we liked it. It's good. The Vader comics are always good, and that's never in doubt. But I think Jabba really stood out, even above Vader. I think it stood out a bit extra. It there's been stories where they covered Jabba the Hutt before, but I think this one really shows how intimidating he is and his control over some of the underworld. Um, the story itself takes place before, so there's flashback portions of it, and then during the issue 0 or Bounty Hunter Alpha of the Bounty Hunter war story, and it's this new bounty hunter that has worked with Boba Fett in the past, and then is actually sort of tracking him down. We find out during that initial issue, and they're an interesting character. They've got like a little Wolverine bone claw type thing even, and I don't even recognize the species of alien that she was from
Yeah,
any Star
it's
Wars.
even though the character itself, like you said in the story, kind of is like, I won't say retcon, but it's all has a history. But we're just being introduced to the character now. Yeah, so you got War of the Bounty Hunters again from Star Wars. We seem to cover at least one of the issues every week because it's been a great story. This is a Jabba the Hutt one, which I believe is just a one shot.
It is.
I don't. Yeah.
There's a
So,
couple more. There's 4-LOM and
yeah.
someone getting one.
Yeah. So I hope the rest of them are just as good as this. But yeah, I was interested in reading this. It was really good. You got Justina Ireland on writing, and then you got you got Luca Pizzari and Ibrahim Robertson doing the art. And yeah, awesome art again.
The art for
bright
this
color.
one was really good. Star Wars
Yeah.
books, the artists are pretty good, but this one felt more movie-like. I find Jabba usually looks like a pile of green goop, and this one gave real detail and shading. Like the coloring was great. Even
Yeah, it kind of
Boba
had
Fett,
like a movie storyboard feel to it. Some of it.
totally. I felt like this one had a little bit more put into it. It seems.
Yeah, and I think so too because they were introducing that new character. Her name is Diva Lampop, and she has blue skin like one of those people from Avatar. But she has like rainbow feathers coming out of her too, like Toucan Sam type of thing. And yeah, but she's pretty badass. She's a former bounty hunter, and she seems to have this ongoing debt that no matter what, she never seems to pay off to Jabba.
Yeah.
And she has worked with Baba in the past on missions and double crossed them in that. And that's what's going on again now. Jabba's upset that he hasn't delivered Han to him in time, so now he sent Diva after him. And yeah, and again, much like all the other Star Wars books that we have reviewed in the past, they're all part of the same storyline, all feeding into the one thing, the one what's called auction that we talked about last week.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and like C's saying here too, he sounds more like a Kingpin type, and that's how he should be seen, not just the goofy slug guy that gets killed at the end of Return of the Jedi. So it does its job, I think, in really reestablishing that he's not to be messed with.
Yeah, I think it's a good setup for it wouldn't surprise me if we see maybe this character pop up in the Bounty Hunter or Boba Fett TV show or Mandalorian TV show that's going to be continuing on Disney Plus.
Mm-hmm.
Those stories took place right after where these stories are taking right now. So
yeah, the War of the Bounty Hunters, like the current Star Wars volume, is between 4 and 5, and
yeah.
I'm sure some of these characters, it's only a couple years after the events in here in Return of the Jedi that Mandalorian and the new Boba Fett show is going to take place. So Yeah,
Mhm.
totally right. And this seems like a character that could definitely show up, especially if she did have an existing debt to Jabba.
Right.
And that puts us at our last book. So let's throw our ice cream man back up here one last time. And we'll give the bag a nice big shake here. We'll shake things around. All right.
Everybody else can still pre-order these books. They're $25 each. We have them, and they will be coming out in about mid-August. They come out 2 weeks after the original issue because it takes a couple weeks longer for exclusives.
Yeah. All right. Here we go. Whose number should I pull out? Let's see here. I've got number 2. That's Steven. Steven wins Ice Cream Man number 25 by Mike Ruth.
All right, on.
Right there. So that's that. That's that one.
Right. Down.
Yeah, write that down in your little black book there. So when those come in, we'll let you know, and it'll be ready for you.
We're gonna post that on our page, so Steven, I hope you don't mind that we throw your name up there.
Yeah. And we're hoping to do some more giveaways like this, not every week, but maybe every couple weeks or so, every few weeks. And we've got a lot of other exclusives, whether you check the website or you check the Facebook page, there's a bunch of other stuff up there. And whether it's new ones coming out or some ones that we have backlogged, we'll maybe do some giveaways for those. And we've got maybe some more exciting stuff in the works right now. But that's what we'll say for right now on that one. But yeah, that's it. I'm saying but a lot this week, aren't I? I'm getting excited over that Ice Cream Man one. Getting ahead of myself. That's a show for this week, everybody. So thank you, Justin at Big Country, and we've got the Ice Cream Man books here. So everyone that claimed one, you'll still get one of those, and we'll get those to you. We'll message you later on, either tonight or later on this week, and we'll figure something out. We got
or message us.
Yeah, or message us, exactly. And thank you 204 Comics. Thank you, Ashley. We appreciate all your help, and we always like the recommendations that you give us here. And if you guys ever aren't sure of what to read, ask him. The guy knows what he's talking about. And yeah, that's our show for this week, everybody. We'll see you all next week.